Good evening, everyone. Yeah, do you see my screen? Okay, I will continue. Okay, uh, yesterday we were discussing about synchronization points. What do you mean by synchronization points? During replay, your test script in your QTP executes very fast, but your application may not respond always that much fast. So at this point of time there are chances to get fail your script. So to handle these kind of situations, synchronization points comes into picture. So with the help of synchronization points, what you do is you instruct your qtp tool wait till the page loads. That is nothing but like synchronization points. There are so many ways of inserting synchronization points in any of your test script. Those are nothing but like wait statement by default. But the drawback of wait statement is it will try to wait how much time you mention, even though your application responds earlier. Okay, so that is the drawback of your wait statement. So to overcome this problem, there are so many other synchronization points comes into picture. Those are nothing but insert synchronization point till pop-up exists, till page loads, till object loads, dot sync, dot exist, means within parentheses you can mention that time. Then settings. Finally, while inserting checkpoints event, you can put synchronization point, and finally through scripting. So these are the different ways of inserting your synchronization points. So, any questions anybody before moving to the topic reusable actions? Anybody any questions? Okay, so no questions means we'll go for another session. So that is nothing but like reusable actions. Okay, so normally this is very basic concept in any of the programming language to implement reusability. like so which all are the steps needs to be performed repeatedly. So what you do is you can make it as a function. That function you will call it in main program. So that one you will call it as functions or procedures in any other programming language. But if you talk about with respect to qtp, you will call it as reusable action. Even functions procedures also you will use in your qtp. But there is a slight difference between a reusable action and function. So what is the difference once we get into picture? So at the time you will understand. So first we'll try to see what is reusable action. Okay, so before going reusable actions, I could have explained during automation introduction, when you go for reusable action, how it will be really helpful in your automation front while implementing framework, right? So let us suppose which are the repeatable steps you have to perform or you have to retest again and again. Those steps you will pick up to go for automate to go for making reusable action. Okay, so in your program or test script, which steps needs to be re-executed again and again before starting up with your framework? what to do is you will analyze, and for those repeatable steps you will come up with reusable actions. Okay, so in order to come up with reusable actions, so you have to analyze, so which steps you have to execute again and again, right? So once you analyze, then you record as result in your qtp. Then you have to make reusable action means you have to follow simple steps. So what are those steps is like we'll see. Okay, so I'm launching Internet Explorer. You aware of like launching Internet Explorer or any of the application in your Windows 7 environment, qtp doesn't record. That is a compatibility issue. So that is the reason what you have to do is that statement you will manually enter in your qtp. So how you enter I will show you later. So right now, then what are the steps you have to navigate again and again, like login. So in your automation front, the process is like each and every test script needs to make it as like independent. So you have to make each and every test script independent means login you have to use every time, right? Okay, so so login I'm recording as a reusable action. Okay, so as I said, properties. Okay, so these are the steps you have to record. So this is nothing but like you have to make it as a reusable action. Okay, you have to make it as a reusable action means you have to follow uh, two or three very simple steps. So those are nothing but like edit, action, action properties. Okay, so edit action properties. So here in like action properties window you have to give name of your reusable action. The name how you will give is like uh, what is that action doing, relative name, appropriate name you will choose and give it up here. Remember one important thing, you are making it as a reusable action means not only you use, okay, whole of your team members also may get a chance to use same reusable action. So what you have to do is like while giving name you have to keep in mind like that anybody see that reusable action means they should get to know immediately like what is that reusable action doing. So in such a manner you have to frame name and have to provide. Okay, so just very simple and give in such a manner like what exactly that reusable action you are creating. Okay, so what is the name here is displaying by default? Action 1. So whenever you give name, action 1 gets replaced by that name as soon as you click on OK button. Okay, so that is the name of that reusable action, and the description of that reusable action is optional. Whatever you feel comfortable, you can give that description. Then you have to make it as a reusable action means here you see like one checkbox like reusable action checkbox. I didn't check by default. it was checked. But older versions of QTP, if you take like earlier to 9.5, by default it was not reusable action. So you have to come here, manually you check, then only QTP will treat that script as a reusable action. But in latest versions of QTP, by default it will be reusable action. Okay, so what does it mean? Whatever the script you are recording any point of time, by default it will be reusable action. So that is what you have to keep in mind. So reusable action means one function you'll create. That function why you create, you will be reusing again and again in your main script. Right, exactly like that. This is the reusable action, already you have named like action 1. By chance you are already used this reusable action, you are changing something, you are making some updations with this action. So that means it may impact the test scripts whatever is using the same reusable action, right? So that is the reason it's asking you, do you want to proceed with your changes? Okay, in case if this reusable action used by some test scripts, those scripts may impact. Okay, so do you want to still continue with making changes? So that is what is asking. So what you can do is like you can click yes. Why means this reusable action nobody script, no script is using. So this is my first time creating reusable action. And another thing is like here Gmail login. Earlier what it was having, action 1, it was replaced with Gmail login. Remember, this is action name, you haven't yet provided the test script name. Now you have to give test script name. See title, what you are what you are having, test. Okay, so next thing is like okay, so what I'm doing here is like I'm creating one folder with the actions. Okay, so there I'm saving for differentiating purpose underscore, I'm removing for script. Okay, so next step is like I'm making it as a composable. Sorry, no, I'm not getting, could you please come up again? You are unable to say? It will take some time for you to load, depends on your network or something like that. Okay, sometimes it will take some time. Okay, see, I clicked at compose mail button, then I entered to subject matter and send button, 5 or 6 operations I have recorded. But how many steps it was recorded? Only 3. I have performed 5 actions in my application, but QTP recorded only 3. What is the reason? If I go for object spec, in QTP you will come up with one feature like that is nothing but object spy. So object spy means like from this toolbar you can go, or another way is like tools, object spy, So click at what is the purpose of like object spy is like any of the object is recognizing by your QTP tool or not. That is what you have to perform. That is what you have to check letters also. So you can go for object spy. Okay. So if it's identifying by your QTP tool or not means once you go for it will blink. It will blink like this. That means it's identifying by your QTP tool. Okay. See whatever the object if you move, it's just blinking and displaying that object properties. It's displaying that object properties, right? But if I move to like compose mail, how it's identifying it as web element. I could have told couple of times any of the object QTP identifying it as like web element, it will create trouble. So that is the reason QTP unable to record. Okay. So how to resolve that issue I will show you like in later sessions. So as of now you just remember. Okay, so like this you are recorded. So once you record you have to make it as a reusable action. What are the steps you have to perform? What are the steps you have to follow? Edit action, action properties. So Gmail compose. Description is optional, by default it was checked. So right now it's displaying like action 1 under action pane. Once you click on OK button, it will get replaced with it's asking again like confirmation in case of this reusable action used by any of the another scripts. Those scripts may get impact. So do you want to still continue? Yes. Okay. So action 1 got replaced with Gmail compose. Then you have to save the test script. Okay. So for differentiating purpose what I do is like I'm removing underscore. See test is replacing with like a Gmail compose that is having one reusable action. So that is nothing but like compose mail Gmail compose. Okay, so exactly another action I will go ahead and record like logout. So record. Okay, then close. Okay, so can anybody tell like how to make reusable action? Edit action, action properties. So click yes on compose confirmation window. Okay, Gmail logout. Then you have to save it as a test. So logout. This is how before starting up with your automation you will analyze the repeatable steps. Those repeatable steps you'll make it as a you'll create them reusable actions. So once you create those reusable actions, what is your next step is like in any of the programming language you'll create functions. So once you create functions, what is your next step? Those functions you will use in your main program, right? Okay, in your main program you will use, right? Exactly. So whatever the actions you have created and saved at like actions folder, those one you have to call in your main script. So how do you call those reusable actions is like there are three ways. Okay, in three ways you can call those reusable actions in your main script. Those are nothing but like call to new action, call to copy of action, call to existing action. In these three ways you will insert. So insert menu, call to new action or call to copy of action or call to existing action. Call to new action is nothing but like creating new reusable action however we created so far, and automatically gets inserted into your main script. So that is the basic way you insert your reusable action while creating. Okay, so that is nothing but like call to new action, call to copy of action and call to existing action are important. Call to existing action or call to copy of action. Okay, so call to existing action when you go for is like the reusable action as usual you have to use without any modifications. What are the reusable action you are created? So without making any changes, if you get a chance to use in your main program, at that time you can go for like call to existing action. Okay, so what I'm doing is like I'm going for like insert menu, call to existing action. As soon as I select call to existing action, it's giving me like select action option. So what is the action? Gmail login. So once I choose, one test script may have multiple actions. If it that test having only one action, it will get populate automatically. One test script have multiple actions means, so which action you have to use at this point of time, that is the one you can choose. So that is the reason test name and action name was different. Okay, so okay, see it was what are the steps you are having in your login action, all those steps got inserted here. Okay, so that is in action. So action, this is nothing but like your main program. In main script you are having sub actions like this. So whenever you go for that action, it will get display all those steps whatever you have in that action. Okay, so when you go for call to existing action is like whenever you have requirement like existing action as usual you have to use. At that point of time you can go for like call to existing action. Okay, so like that my requirement here is like you have to validate composing an email. So I have to make that test script independent means even though it's not asking me for Gmail login, still I have to use login and logout to make it independent. Okay, see as soon as I insert compose mail, it was inserted those steps. My next I have to insert is like logout. So how to insert a logout action? Can anybody say? Yeah. Next. Mhm. Yeah, exactly. This is how you can insert your call to existing action. So three actions you are inserted in your main script, and under action one if you go for three actions you see. So these three actions as usual you have to use means you will go for call to existing action. If you want to comment, control M, or you select right click comment. Comment means it doesn't execute. So I'm just commenting compose. Why means if you remember like click on compose or send button, QTP was not recorded. It will create trouble. That's the reason I was commented Gmail compose. Okay. Then test name you haven't yet given, right? So you have to provide test name means you have to click at save button So this is main test, right? So I will create another folder like test scripts. Here I will create like verify, compose, may. Remember, if you are working for any of the project, so within the project manual test cases will be there, right? So those manual test cases you will be converting into automation. Means you don't want to give name for the test script manually. Okay, whatever the test case, your manual test case you are automating, the test case should have some name, right? So that is the name you can choose. Okay, manual test case name itself is nothing but your automated test script name. This is the way you can create your test scripts. So before starting up with your automation, what you do is like you will get test cases, manual test case stuff. From those test cases you will analyze which test cases you will go for like automation, that means like stable functionality related test cases. Once you pick up the test cases related to stable functionality or stable modules, what you do is like uh, you will analyze which are the repeatable steps you have in those test cases. For those repeatable steps you will come up with creating reusable actions. Those reusable actions you will insert it into main script. So this is the process in your real time you will follow. Any questions? Okay, now if I go for execution, compulsively it doesn't execute. What it does is like it will just log in and it log out. Okay, so while recording Internet Explorer, it was not launching automatically. So that is the step I have manually added. So that statement how you can add is like, what is the command you use is like system util dot run system utility dot run. Okay, so if I go for like Gmail login, here is system util dot run. What is the path? This is nothing but like your call to existing action. In real time you are implementing good framework means 100% of the cases you will go for like call to existing action only. 100%. Okay, you will go for call to existing action only. Okay. Any questions, anybody? Okay, so no questions means when you go for like call to copy of action, let us assume you have a requirement like existing action as usual you have to use, but with little bit modification. At that point of time you can go for like call to copy of action. So at that point of time what your qtp does is like it will copy that entire action from your reusable actions folder to this test script. Call to existing action whenever you go for what is doing is like is providing link from main test to your reusable actions folder. While creating a call to existing action, what your qtp does backend is like it will just provide link from your main test to the reusable access, which one is available at reusable actions folder. But during call to copy of action it will entirely copy that reusable action from actions folder to your main script. See, insert call to copy of action. If I go for so where it is, let us suppose login. Let us suppose login with a little bit modification I have to use. So what it does, copy of it has given, you see, copy of, and here where it was told copy of, this is internal action to this script, but this is external action. Whenever you go for like call to existing action, you use that is external to this script. That means it's stored outside of this script. That means reusable actions folder. Call to copy of action means it's entirely copying from there to here, means within this script only. Okay, so whenever you go for like call to existing action, see, I'm trying to select and delete, edit, something like paste, delete, that was disabled, you see. What does it mean? You cannot modify whenever you use like call to existing action feature. That is the purpose, right? So existing action as usual you have to use, means why you have to get enabled. So but if you go for call to copy of action, okay, so enter and give, see, it's allowing you to modify. That is the purpose of call to copy of action, right? So view, if you go edit, delete, cut, copy, all options were enabled. What does it mean? It's asking, is providing you to modify. Okay, so that is the purpose of like your call to copy of action. So with a little bit modification you have to use, means you can go for call to copy of action. Okay, so this is the difference between like call to copy of action and call to existing action. But in real time you will go for like call to existing action only 100% of cases, but very rarely if you get by chance, then at the time you go for like call to copy of action. Okay, and modify, little bit modification and use in your program. Any questions? Okay, so call to copy of action, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to modify something. Okay, so does it reflect in your main action? No, it doesn't impact. So it will get impact only within this script. Okay, here my point is like but whatever the action I have used like call to copy, call to existing action is not allowing me to modify. Okay, tomorrow instead of sign in button, client to come up with change request like OK button. Then what I have to do? What I have to do? It's not allowing me to modify, right? Then what I should do at that time? Okay, I'll give you the clue. Like this, this action you were inserted in 1000 scripts. Then what you do? Using call to existing action. Call to existing action feature you are inserted in 1000 scripts. So tomorrow instead of sign in button they come up with OK button. That is the change request. Then what you will do? If you do copy of action, 1000 scripts you are inserted. That means what does it mean? In 1000 scripts you are going and updating. Then what is the purpose of reusability? Copy of action is not linking to your reusable actions folder, right? So from there to here is copy. That means like 1000 different actions, 1000 different instances you are created. So any change request means you have to go to 1000 scripts and you have to update. Then where you are implementing reusability? That means you will go for like call to existing action only in real time. But if you get like this change request, where you will modify? It's very simple. If it is main program, where you will modify? In your C or C++. Within function you will modify, right? It will get reflected to 1000 scripts. Here also you open original action. Why you are thinking that much time? You open original action, okay, and modify little bit. Earlier this line was not there, okay. I'm saving it. Now if I go for like main test script, verify composement, this is main test, right? This is main test, okay, verify composement. So if I go that reusable action, see, that line earlier was not there, now it was there, right? What does it mean? So within your main action, whatever changes you make, it will get reflected to your 1000 script. That is the advantage of reusability. That's why you go for implementing the reusability concept, right? So so actions are of two types. Call to, sorry, two ways you can insert your test the actions in your main scripts. That is nothing but like call to copy of action and call to existing action. And there are two types of actions like non-reusable actions and reusable actions, okay. So whatever you see like reusable and external, these are nothing but like reusable. Okay, before that we'll go for like external actions and internal actions, okay. External actions and internal actions. Okay, external means does not contain in your main script. Okay, it's contained in your subscript. It does not contain in your script, it's in outside of that script only, okay. But internal means within this script only, within this script, okay. So within this script you are getting one action, that one you may use multiple times, right? Okay, so that is the difference between like internal action and external action. This one is little bit make confusion, but once you practice, this confusion go off, okay. You have to practice very well, okay. So then non-reusable actions within a script, you may get a chance to use only once. See here what I'm doing, I'm going for like insert, call to new action, and I'm giving like action to, I'm unchecking reusable action, then okay. So I have to click on record. So record something. Okay, where it present non-reusable action. That means within your script it will execute only once. But reusable action means it may run couple of times. See, you can copy here. Okay, you can copy like this multiple times within the script you may use. Or it doesn't mean like only within this script, in another script also you have to use me. See, I'm saving this script. I'm saving this script, so copy of action is action from this test, right? So I'm going for like new test. Insert, call to uh, copy of action or existing action. I'm going for like existing action. So what I'm doing is like I'm not calling actions folder from test scripts. So this is the test you have. Within the test, which are the actions you have? Action 1 and a copy of action. You see, right? action 1 and copy of Gmail login. Two actions you have. So remember one thing, reusable action means you may use multiple times, reuse again and again. Non-reusable action means only once you will use. Internal action means internal to this test script. External action means does not have containing in this script. So like that you have to remember. Okay. Even action 1, if I insert, let us suppose, what will happen you see. So I'll go for like main test action 1. Let me mm, action 1. Okay, action 1 I'm taking. Action 1, what you are having, all these reusable actions, right? All these reusable actions. So that is the script. Again Gmail login, if I go for Gmail login, see all those actions it was inserted. All those reusable actions it was inserted. Okay, so this is the purpose of like reusable actions. So the idea is very simple. Which are the repeatable steps you are having, you will reuse them. Now you will create them as reusable actions. Those reusable actions you will insert them into main scripts. Okay, so there are two ways you can insert: call to copy of action and call to existing action. So call to copy of action is nothing but like with a little bit modifications you have to use, means you can go for call to copy of action, but without modifications as well you have to use, means you can go for call to existing action. Internal action means internal to the test script. External action means from reusable actions folder. That means like simply external to that test script. Any questions? Okay, so yeah, tell me. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, that existing action it will copy from version. See, when you do like move, what will happen? From here to there you are moving. Copying, what you are doing, existing original one, it will be there itself, but you'll copy it to some another location and make little bit modifications. Okay, yeah, no, 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 no. That is what here I did, right? See, here I made some changes and stored in this test script. Copy of Gmail somewhere. Okay, but this is what where I saved verify compose mail. That is what I'm using in some another test script, right? If that is the requirement, I can use very well, no issues. This is also reusable action. This is also another reusable action at this point of time. But that reusable action where you have in this test script. So in another script, yeah, this is what test, this test I have named so far, right? Not yet renamed, right? So I have used that action in my another script, right? So you can use it up very well. Okay, yeah. Reusable action means you can use anywhere, wherever you want. That is the reason I'm saying like this is also, no, 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 that is different. That is entirely different. That is what I will tell you. But this is what reusable action means anywhere. See, another thing, I have created reusable action, Gmail login. Test script name I have given, right? Test script name, this is Gmail. This is the test script name. Under that reusable action you may have multiple reusable actions. This is main test. You may have multiple reusable actions. Okay, clear, right? Okay, like that you can use. No issues variable. Yeah, that is very good question. Okay, that means you understand what is the concept of reusable actions, how you will use. Yeah, variable you can use. That is the way. Okay. Any more questions? Yeah. Yeah. That is opposite, right? Same, right? One requirement, how many test cases you are having. That means requirement to test cases you are mapping. Exactly. This test case belongs to which requirement? So requirement to requirements tab you can map two test cases. From test cases test plan itself, you can map the test case related to which requirement. Both. In quality center, one very good feature is like any tab to any tab you can give link, right? That is nothing but traceability matrix. So this requirement, how many test cases you are having? Why you have to link like that? For good metrics only, for reporting purpose only, for viewing purpose only, for better management purpose only. This requirement, how many test cases you have, how many bugs you have to find out. So how you will find out? Once you go requirements tab, you click on specific requirement, it will give you like report test cases or defects tab. If you go how many link it to the test case, like that it will give you. That is the purpose of like linking. Okay, clear, right? See, manually you have to here manually where you are maintaining, you are using quality center means you are giving just linking, but separately you are not maintaining, right? If you are manually creating like in the form of excel as well or something like that, so again different stuff is not really required. So how you are coming up with test cases horizontally, test requirements vertically. So there like that one template you are coming up with means again two ways you don't want to maintain, right? So one way you can come up with that one is covering two ways. So which test case link to which requirement, or that requirement how many test cases you are having. From that one report you are understanding, right? So why you want to create two reports, two traceability matrix? Yeah, that is what, that's the reason they are asking you. Okay. Oh, when you said sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, today? Okay, I will check it up and I will reply back by tomorrow. Okay, I will check it up. Okay. Yeah, any more questions? Okay. QTP it will take for 3 or 4 more weeks for QTP itself. This week we'll finish it up for QTP concepts. Okay. Next week it will go for VB scripting. Next week it will go for framework. Okay. So it will take 3 more weeks for QTP itself. After that, load runner and quality center we have, right? Okay. Yeah, by the time what Hamira is saying, like you uh, upload your resume immediately and try it out, right? By the time you are attending at least 2 or 3 interview call means you'll get some idea how to face. And remember another important thing, in testing front, it's not like practicing. You should you are aware of all the questions, but how to answer. Just now you are asked one question, right? So like that, once you go for interview, then only you will understand. So in your house, if you keep practicing, you may not. Okay. So that's why update your resume immediately and try it out. Okay. Any more questions? Hmm, okay. So no questions means tomorrow we start up with parameterization. That is a very powerful concept in your KTP. Okay. So same time we'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Thanks for your time. See you, friend. Bye. Have a good night.